This is a fun one. Google Stadia came out basically to update people by telling them nothing. So, by
telling them nothing.
Google Stadia users have been a little bit prickly lately. They want to know what's going on.
What's going on with this platform?
Google said that they were tracking 120 different potential games for a release on Stadia in 2020.
Okay.
And then heard nothing. So it's been like 40 days since there's been any update to any like news update from Google about what's going on with Stadia. And given that this is a new platform, came out in what, October, November?
Something like that.
November, I think. And
it wasn't off to a good start.
Wasn't off to a good start at all. And now Google has been more silent than necessary, or than they should be over the state of it. The Stadia community manager Grace from Google responded to thread participants writing, "All the concerns you've brought to the table are completely valid, and I understand where your frustrations are coming from. Nobody likes to be left in the dark." I gotta say something. I feel like Grace is also saying something to Google from her position. Like, I feel like there's something...
Grace under fire?
I feel like there's something tongue-in-cheek here, like, I don't enjoy this either.
Well, she's just doing her job. She only communicates the information she's giving. That's a proper statement.
No, but I mean, do you get what I'm saying? Like, I feel like like that could be something she's saying to Google as well.
But that's the best thing you can say.
Nobody likes to be left in the dark. No. While I don't have product updates to share right at this second, I can promise you that I have been and will continue taking feedback posted to our Stadia and other channels. I don't know. Reading between the lines there, she seems a little bit annoyed at her position, not at the people.
Was that was that statement from the Reddit thread? Or was that from?
That was her statement to our Stadia. Yes, so
okay.
Reddit. Google did chime in to announce 2 new free games, Guilt and Metro Exodus, but those have been those have already been on the service. They're just the new free games. Of the 120 Stadia games referenced earlier this month, Google has clarified that not all will be announced by the Stadia team. "We leave it up to the publishers to make the announcement about their IP and games and which platforms it will appear on," it said in a statement, "just as we will do with the exclusive content coming to Stadia."
Okay.
"There are a lot of reasons for the time of those game announcements," the company continued. "Anything from planned promotions or events, title readiness," no shit, title readiness, proximity to first playable demo, shareholder requirements. "We continue to work closely with our publishing and developing partners and are here to support them in all areas." What that says is, in so many words, is we have nothing close enough to being ready to talk about. Which 3 months after this platform has launched is a horrible sign. This is the end period, like the free like 3-month like premium subscriptions that came with like guest passes, or the people who bought into the Stadia Founders Edition,
the founder stuff,
like that's running out. So now should be the time where they're really ramping up.
It's basically the beta period.
Yeah, they should be going full force with just a fire hose of content, being like, this is what's coming out, this is what we're going to have on Stadia, this is what's going to be exclusive, because this is where they need to get people to renew subscriptions. If they don't get people to start like paying for this and turning over, this is honestly, this is looking right now as dead in the water as I thought it was going to. I gave it 6 months. We're at 3 months now.
On the Reddit, where do we stand? As expected, there haven't been any further updates in January after the 120 game mystery bonanza. Still supposedly 2+ months out until 4K on browser, any assistant functionality at all, and the true wireless controller functionality advertised. I read about that, but they're still doing updates to the controller for stuff. 120 games coming, but none revealed so far. Still no mention of iOS. Still no mention at all of Stadia base. Still no mention of family sharing. That's right, the family sharing thing.
Oh yeah, that was the other one. Yeah, like so beyond that, like there's just so much they haven't bothered to talk about.
Meanwhile, breaking news: the NVIDIA GeForce Now, which we haven't really spoken about that much, they exited their beta, and so that's coming on the heels of Google Stadia, and that's gonna probably be the one that people gravitate towards versus this. Because that's going to be offering, you're going to be offering a streaming service, but it's from what I hear, it's a more stable platform. And they're offering a free option alongside a paid subscription model for founders who want to invest in $4.99 a month. There's the point.
I don't necessarily think that I'll personally say I don't necessarily think that that's going to do any better. I don't think the technology is still here. I think that this is.
I've just heard from a few folks that it's a better alternative for this sort of product, for this
having
product,
that option
cloud.
along with something like your Xbox Game Pass is nice. It's there if you want it, but it's also not the meat and potatoes of what you're paying for. You're paying for all these games that you can also download and play. PS Now is doing that now too. They're adding a lot more value to this. Just having a streaming service is not. We're not ready for it, and Google is. I feel like they're.
Here's the point. The whole point about this GeForce Now, if I'm reading, there's 300,000 users that have streamed more than 70 million hours of gaming content, according to this article, is that if this is even moderately better, Google Stadia is dead.
Sure.
Because what they're proving is that we can do this better than you, and we don't have our head up our ass, and we have this ready to go now. Why are you going to wait for this Google one? Just because Google's on the name?
Right.
I guess so. This is dead. This is dead.
Right, I believe this is supposed to enter its full its full launch is supposed to be March. Maybe it was even February, but it's no later than March, and they haven't even talked about basic features.
And it is your responsibility, Google, to let people know what games will appear on your fucking platform that people are subscribing to. This
is the second time we've talked about them using the shitty talk to the publishers. Excuse. When they were found out that the games looked worse or weren't in like actual 4K, they were like, "Oh, we'll talk to the publishers. That's on the publishers, not us." The publishers are the ones who decide that.
If Microsoft or Sony or Nintendo responded like this, you have obviously you're not buying well, some people have bought the little device for this.
Hey Nintendo, we don't want to buy the Wii U because there's no games for it. Well, it's the publisher's job to announce them.
Or the Switch even, or whatever.
No, if a company has games coming out for something that they need to sell, they will find a way to talk about that. There's no real reason. There's no business reason. There's no behind the scenes secret reason why Google hasn't mentioned anything in 40 days about new games coming out for it. It's because no one wants to be on the fucking platform.
It's the responsibility of a company platform. If you are spending money, like in this course, like the Premier Edition, you're getting the controller or a subscription, it is your responsibility to let your potential user base or current user base know what the hell is appearing on the platform. This isn't Steam, where you go on Steam and anyone can get a Steam account for free and then shop for whatever. It's not. This isn't a shop. This isn't a shop. This is beyond the shop.
When Nintendo does a Nintendo Direct, they don't just talk about Nintendo games. All sorts of third-party games come up too, because they know it's their responsibility to sell the Switch to people based on its content.
This is not a shop. This is a platform. This is a cloud platform. It's not a shop. Steam's a shop. They don't have to let you know about new shit, even though they probably will because it's Steam. But they don't have to because that's a shopping center, basically. This is not a shopping center.
You ideally want to charge people per month for this service. So you got to give people a reason to.
And people have bought hardware as well for this.
Yes, the controller.
So this is just nuts.
Yeah.
What was the over under we gave this? Was like 8 months?
No, a lot of people were saying a year, and I actually went bold and said 6 months.
I think I said 8 to 12 months, somewhere in there. Go back, and if I'm wrong, you can let me know if I was wrong on the
And I'll still be surprised if my prediction comes true, but it's looking closer to it.
Okay.
Certainly looking closer.
So we're counting that from the start of when is it out of beta, then like around now, I guess? When do we start when did the clock start? When did you start the clock on your prediction?
I kind of started it back then and said, there's a chance.
From whenever it was, October? When was it?
Let's put it this way. I'll be impressed if this is still floating around in September.
Google Stadia launched on November 19th. So it's been... Okay. So it hasn't even been 3 months yet.
No, then I'm gonna stand by 6 months and see where we're at. So I'm 2 months. I'm 2 months in. I've got 4 months left.
You're more than 2 months. Say December, January. You're 2.5 months in.
Okay.
So you said 6?
I'm saying 6. I'm gonna stick to 6.
Okay. So 6 months. Write it down.
I'm gonna stick to 6.
6 months from November 19th. Pat math. December is 1 month, and then you add 5. May 19th would be 6 months.
December, January, February, March, April, May, June.
June. Okay.
Yes.
Pat math's off. There.
I was going to say Christmas in July is Christmas in
June 19th is Ian's prediction. It'll be dead and gone by then. I'm gonna say, what did I say? I was gonna say 8 to 10 months. I'll say 10 months. So 4 months after June is August. Excuse me, July, August, September, October. October 19th is my date.
So you won't even give it a full year.
No.
Okay.
So we're gonna do Price is Right rules. Where if you go over, we're gonna see closest to.
Okay.
Ian or me. So June versus October.
June versus October.
Over 19th.
Got it.
What is closest to the date?
All right.
All right, moving on. Let's got anything else to add on that?
No, I don't. It's just it's ridiculous.
It's got. I'll just say this.
It's a fucking shit show.
I don't know how companies are. I know there's for companies that are that big. I know there's huge bureaucracy. I guess that you can let bad decisions just trickle down from people that don't give a shit. I guess. I just don't understand it. There's so much money and R&D that goes into this stuff. Whatever. I don't know. It's so weird that this stuff happens. And like the Blizzard stuff, it's just so weird that they allow these things to happen.
Yep.
They don't care.